All right, good evening. We're going to call the meeting of the regular part of the meeting back into order. So we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And Jennifer, would you lead us in the pledge, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Jennifer. On to the approval of the agenda, and there are some corrections on page 12. Let me get right here. There was a typo, and it's on the 2022 LCAP federal addendum item, and it's was listed as approved the 2021 LCAP. That should be approved the 2022 LCAP. So that was a date typo. And on page 18, the same kind of issue in the first paragraph for the provisional intern permits. It should be the 22-23 school year, not the 21-22 school year. And then on page 30, which is the consent calendar, which is item X, and this is B1 under the reporter certificate employment, the third name down for Carrie Parkreader. It says that she's going to be an employee at Miano. That's incorrect. She will be an employee at Los Banos High School. So those are the three corrections to the agenda that I have. Dr. Marshall, do you have anything?
No further corrections.
All right. With that, I need to have a motion to approve the agenda as corrected.
I move that we approve the agenda as corrected.
Go ahead, second that.
Somebody over here. That was right. Okay, we got a motion by Member Benton, seconded by Member Martinez to approve the agenda as amended. Members of the public who would like to have an item placed on the agenda of any school board meeting may do so by submitting that request in writing to the superintendent at least 2 weeks prior to a regularly scheduled board meeting. Members of the public who are here tonight to address items on tonight's agenda may do so. When the item comes up before us, please come up to the podium and you will have 3 minutes to speak with a total of 20 minutes for each agenda item. So if you wish to speak on any agenda item, you can come up at any time when that, or excuse me, right when that item is placed before the board. And is there anybody here tonight that would like to make comments to the board that is not on tonight's agenda? You may do so by approaching the podium, and you'll again have 3 minutes to speak. If there are multiple speakers on the same subject, you'll have a total of 20 minutes to speak on that non-agenda item. So with that, is there anyone here tonight who would like to address the board on something that is not on tonight's agenda? If so, please come up to the podium. All right, seeing no one come forward, we'll move on to reports. First item is the California School Employees Association report. Any report tonight? Seeing none, I believe not. On to item B, Los Banos Teachers Association report. And she's coming up. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 22-23 school year. It seems like it was a really long time ago, the last time, at least I was in this room with everybody, and so it's great to be back. I have heard from many teachers over the last few days of how wonderful it is to be back with our students and to see their faces and see their smiling faces, and we are so glad that we are on the downward slide of this pandemic and able to make sure that we keep all staff and students safe and continue to provide a quality education for our students. As we get going in the school year, we are super excited to hear about the new state budget and how there is about 13% ongoing new funding for all of our schools in California. That is a huge amount. That's probably more than I've ever seen in my 25-year education career. So we're looking forward to meeting with our bargaining teams and getting this process started, hopefully quickly and painlessly, because we all just want to get out there and teach and do the best job that we possibly can. Thank you all.
Thank you, Jennifer. All right. Superintendent's report, Dr. Marshall.
Thank you. First, I'd like to welcome our students and our staff members back for the school year. Thanks to everyone for a great start to the year. I mean, we started off very smoothly. People have come back in great spirits, so we're really excited about the new year. A big kudos to the professional development team. I mean, I've gotten lots of good feedback about the trainings that we had prior to the start of school. So from teachers and different staff members, they talked about how great the professional development was over the PD days. We received news today from CDC that there have been some changes to the health guidelines. What we're waiting to find out is how that aligns to the California Department of Health. And once we get that information and kind of get a framework, then we'll be sitting down and kind of talk about what that means for us. What I can say, though, that it's less restrictive. So as Jennifer talked about, we kind of move into a more of going back to normal. So we're very excited about that. One thing that I didn't talk about during my presentation last week, when we talked about I talked a lot about facilities, but I didn't talk a lot about school safety because we do have a lot of stuff going in place about that too. It didn't really fit into what was going on that day, but there's a lot that's happening. The board approved a contract with Knowledge Saves Lives where they're going to go into every site and do an analysis. I mean, that process should have already started. And after we get the report back as far as the findings, what happens is that we have an ad hoc subcommittee of the board that looks at school safety. We work with law enforcement, and we'll take those recommendations and then to kind of develop a plan of action. So that's in place. We are doing things with that. I should have said that last week, but it didn't, kind of fit what was going on that day. But there's a lot going on as far as school safety. Finally, I'd like to introduce, we have Dr. David Horton. Could you please stand, please? This is Dr. David Horton. He's our Director of Secondary Education. He served, prior to coming to us, he's worked as a consultant, worked with us at Creekside. Prior to that, he served as an Assistant Superintendent, Director of Curriculum, a lot of work in the Hemet School District. And we're just glad to have him here with us and to kind of learn what he can bring to Los Banos. So let's give him a round of applause, please. Welcome. And I think that's all I have.
Thank you. Facilities report. Amir.
HME parking lot contractor have started the working. The first phase of the project will be addressing drainage and conduits. The second project is Pacheco High School building addition. The contractor is waiting for the commercial HVAC unit to arrive. It should be here in 2 weeks, and then that's probably the next phase for the project. The last one is the Lofton Stadium. The project started last Monday, and there's going to be a groundbreaking ceremony. Tentative date will be August 25th. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Any questions for Amir? All right. Seeing none. On to board member reports. Well, I usually go last, so I'm going first. Because usually I just get to say ditto. And I don't have much because it was a month where there wasn't a whole lot going until the last couple of days. So when back to school nights, we all kind of divided ourselves up because I think there was 8 schools or 9 schools having back to school night at the same night at the same time. So we couldn't be everywhere, all of us, because I like to go to all the schools and check them out. But we had to kind of divide ourselves up, and so some of us had 2 schools and some of us had 1 school, and we were able to make some quick rounds. I had my 2 schools were LBE and Westside, and it was great. Fantastic turnouts at both schools. Parents were excited to be there. Kids were excited to be there. Going around the classrooms, it was great. And it was fun to watch the kids go find their seat and a lot of the teachers had packets there ready for them to take, and a lot of great give and take to the parents and the teachers. One of the things that I thought was really clever in one of the teachers' classes, and it probably happened in multiple teachers' classes around the district, but in one of the teachers' classrooms I visited, the teacher had QR codes that the parents got to go up and click on the QR codes and download a bunch of stuff to their phone, and had that information that they were able to walk away with that night instead of taking it paper. So I thought, wow, they're using technology. This is really cool. So it was a great night for everybody, and I know the first day of school must have been really exciting because the kids were really excited just being there the day before. Tonight we have a reporter from the West Side Express, and their normal reporter or their regular reporter couldn't be here tonight. So tonight we have Prishavala, who is a senior at Las Banas High School, and I understand that you are an absolute fantastic journalist. So thank you for doing that. Also understand you're one of our top students at Las Banas High School. So it's really exciting that you're here tonight, and keep up the great work. And thank you for being here. And if you got any questions afterwards, come up and talk to us. But it's great to see our students being involved with what's happening in the community. So thank you very much. And it's great to have you here with us tonight. And then Dr. Horton, welcome. All right, that's all I have tonight, and we'll move on to, how about Jessica?
Thank you. Welcome everyone. Welcome back. It's busy, so I even noticed more traffic on the roads right as we're getting to our various work locations. So, but it's always nice. It's always nice to see the school buses. So thank you to everyone, and we're back in full stream. I was at Charleston. So for those of you that know a little bit of me, that was my elementary school. So I had the great fortune, thank you, Miss Bowman, to allow me to go into my kindergarten class. And I looked for this phone that I used to play with. Unfortunately, it was no longer there. They've upgraded the system. So now there's new toys, new technology everywhere. But it was really, really nice to be able to go back. I think sometimes we forget how big things were when we were small, and we kind of forget as we get older that there's this whole new wave of new generation that's coming behind us that look up to us for that inspiration and whatnot. So it was really, really nice. I got to go into various classrooms, even the library. I was always the bookworm in the library, so to see scholastics there, it made me want to buy a whole bunch of books, but I had to contain myself there too. So thank you again. It was really, really nice. And lastly, I also had the great fortune and honor really to speak as one of the keynote speakers at the LB Youth Mentorship Gala. And there I just spoke a little bit about myself, being born and raised in Las Banas, going off to college, coming back, and now being a dean at our Merced College Las Banas campus. And so I shared a little bit of that. But when I shared that I was a Charleston elementary school student, there were so many of our Charleston kids there. One of the young boys came up and gave me a huge hug and said, I go to Charleston. So out of everything that I mentioned at this speech, the one thing that he took away is somebody's there and they spoke and they've been at Charleston. So that to me was a complete 180 to be able to do that for our community. So great work to everyone, staff, teachers, administrative staff, custodian, everybody. I would be remiss if I keep naming things, but it's going to be hard coming back and transitioning, I know, but we're there for the kids and the students. So thank you for all you do.
All right, thank you. On to Gene.
Welcome. I went to Volta, and then the next night I went to Grasslands. I live near Grasslands, and I was very impressed with how clean the campus was. So my hat's off to the people who cleaned that campus. It was impeccably clean. And I, too, toured many of the classrooms and saw the QR codes, and the teachers are using a lot of technology. That was a lot of fun. The students were very excited. Grasslands has a very nice, large duck mascot that people love to pose with. And every student who went through the process, received a certificate to get an otter pop. So you give a student an otter pop when it's 90 degrees outside, you can't miss there. So it was very nice, and I'm glad we're back. And the students seem very excited, and I'm excited for what I'm seeing. So I'm looking forward to Lofton Stadium and everything that's going on over there. So thank you very much, and congratulations to all the new administrators at all our sites, and thank you for all the teachers doing an excellent job. And I saw it firsthand with the passion and how excited the teachers were when they met with each one of the students. So thank you.
Thank you. Gene, on to Ray.
Welcome, everybody. Hopefully everybody got enough R&R, much needed after all that we've all been through. But aside from that, I've been doing personal research into keeping our school sites safe and secure as much as possible. There's a lot of work going on. We're looking to take things to the next level in those areas, and a lot of study, a lot of research. Also had the opportunity of attending two school sites, Miano and I went to Grasslands. And again, just like what you've already heard, a lot of these comments, it was just awesome to see the excitement and the readiness, not just on the kids that were there, but, the parents and the staff. I mean, it was just a really good atmosphere to see that. And in closing, aside from that, I just want to give, praise and accolades to our district as a whole. I truly believe it's, just an honor to be part of this district and even this board here, and how we've all worked together. And there's a lot of good things happening, and I'm just really proud, of our district. So that's all I got.
All right. Thank you. Mark.
Well, thank you. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back. Just as I should say ditto for a lot of these things. It's my turn to say ditto. I attended back to school night at Volta. Met Mr. Munoz here, and he said, look at this playground. What's different from when we were kids? I said, well, the slide's plastic, so no longer are you burning your legs all the way down, and there's no merry-go-round. So good things have happened since then. But I also went to Henry Miller, where my daughter attended when she was young. It was back in the day of Mr. Neeb as principal. And it's wonderful to see that it still has that family feel. It's a great opportunity for everybody to see their old friends, and they talk to their old teachers, and they are excited to meet the new, and it's really wonderful. I also went to Mercy Springs. That's just wonderful as well. The kids I went into the kindergarten classes, and there's children in there crying, and moms are crying, and it's like, it's okay. Wait 13 years and you can cry again at graduation, it'll all be wonderful. And the teachers were excited to meet their pupils, and it was just fun. I noticed in all the schools that they were asking for donations. And so if you have inclination, pencils, papers, crayons, wet wipes, anything that you can think of, that, hey, they will be happy to take that, and we would appreciate it. And I'd like to thank Morningstar for all the donations that they've made. They presented backpacks to students in the kindergarten and first grade. And they've also done our big signs outside of our schools and things like that. So it's really wonderful to see a big company take interest in our community and help build it. And I appreciate that very much. So I'm looking forward to what we are going to unfold in this next year. And I know you're all just going to do a wonderful job, and it's so exciting. Can't wait to see what happens. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mark. Gary.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Okay, I'll start off with, I attended the Merced County Youth Recreation Swim League Championships over at Pacheco High School. The schools there were Chowchilla Atwater, Hillmar, Los Palos, Los Banos Sharks, and Kerman. It was really interesting to see how it ran. Okay, your first event all the way down to 15 events. Okay, at the beginning they had girls from 6 and under did the freestyle 25 yards. Okay, that's one length of the pole. Okay, and the same thing with the boys, 6 and under on event 2, and it went down to 7 and 8 freestyle 25 yards. Okay, and then all the way down to girls 9 and 10. Okay, 50 yards freestyle, and then it continued. Girls 11 and 12. Okay, and that went all the way until 17, 18. Okay, at 50-yard freestyle. Then it went from 7 to 8, 100-yard. Okay, and that went from there, all ages, to 17 and 18 to 100-yard. Okay, and then again, we started with the backstroke. This was really, really something to see. The girls 6 and under, 25-yard backstroke. Okay, and sometimes 9 and 10, you got girls 50-yard backstroke. Okay, and what really caught my eye is when they started getting off track. They started just going sideways and hitting the divider. But it was really funny. It was really cute. But I really enjoyed myself on that meet. I saw a lot. Kids out there swimming, trying hard, and competing. My next one is over here at Volta. Okay, Mr. Matthew Thomas, him and his staff. Okay, ran into them. Mrs. Baker showed me her library that they put together just recently. They had to move a couple of classes from the TK, but it was really interesting and really unique, the new library. I visited all the classrooms from 6th to kindergarten and made sure that I met all the teachers, asked them some questions, and kind of gave them a little rundown about myself. Okay, and then I talked with, as I was waiting in line to speak with the teacher when she had time, she was introducing herself, she was describing, talking to parents, and then while standing in line, you hear these stories about how the parents need to have their kids watched. One girl didn't have, she didn't want to wear her glasses. She's in 6th grade, I think 5th grade. And she was having a problem wearing her glasses. So the parent kind of gave instructions on, if she's not wearing her glasses during class, call us. During lunch or recess, other than that, that's fine. But in class, she needs to wear her glasses. So I heard all kinds of stories. Really, really interesting. Okay, and that was Volta. Okay, then over in my next school was Lorena, Alaska. Mrs. Brady. It was a pleasure meeting. I mean, going to the school again. I really miss it. I was really welcome. I couldn't believe it. I ran into Mrs. King, Mrs. Cardoza, and Mrs. Alves. Okay. These were teachers of my granddaughter, Raquel. But like I said, it was nice being back. Again, I was waiting in line to meet. Well, I made a point to meet every teacher. I might have forgotten one or two, but I heard stories from the parents, just like I mentioned before. But everybody's excited. I asked how they like Volta, and they're very, very pleased with Volta, the teachers, the staff, and all that. And the same thing with Lorena, Alaska. Okay, and then I also have to say hi to Mrs. Leonard. She was part of Lorena, Alaska when I was attending that school. Yeah, you're part of the group. We're all one big family. And that's all I got. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. And of course, if you don't look at your notes, you leave something out. And I left a couple things out, so I do want to go back and kind of just add to my report. visiting the classrooms, one of the things I noticed was the amount of work teachers had done to prepare their classrooms. They were phenomenal. I mean, all the walls are covered and it's content oriented. It's just was fantastic job. And I know it took hours. Believe me, I've been there, done that. It takes hours to do. So, thank you to all the staff who spent all those hours getting their rooms set up and ready to go and give a great visual experience for those kids when they first walk in. So thank you for everybody who spent all that time doing that. And I know you all did it. So thank you so much. The other two things, there are three things that I have here. I live right next to Los Banos High School, and there's been a lot of activity going on the last week or so. And I knew what it was, but I mean, from early in the morning, like 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, till as late as when the sun came down, there were kids in the parking lot painting. They're seniors, I assume, painting their spaces. So I took a tour over there, walked through the other night. Unbelievable. If you get a chance, go to Los Banos High School. And I know Pacheco probably did the same thing. I didn't get over there, but it was, I mean, the artwork that these kids did on those parking spaces is quite phenomenal. So I know they were out there, and it's a lot of senior spirit. And I know it's a lot of senior spirit because someone shared with me the walk-in for the senior walk-in for Los Banos High School. They were pumped. So I know they're probably the same thing went on at Pacheco. No one shared me their information, but someone did share with me the senior walk-in for Los Banos High School, and I'm sure the same thing happened at the other high school. They're pumped, they're ready to go, and so it looked like a great start to the year. I did talk to a Pacheco High School teacher at LBE. He has a child there, and I asked, how did it go for the first day, and he said it was absolutely fantastic. He said attendance was really up, kids were pumped, and it was a great day. So I know, it was a great day at both high schools because everybody was excited. Staff was really excited about what was going on, so that was really cool. And I have two quotes that I want to share tonight. One of them is from Drew Carey. And he's a comedian, but I thought this was really cool. He said, "The internet is where opinions are facts and sources don't matter." So I know that you'll be using the internet in your classroom, so be careful. Because not everything you read on the internet is true. And the other thing I thought was really great for the beginning of school is kids are adults under construction. And that's our goal, is to prepare these kids to be great adults. And I know you guys are all going to do a great job. So with that, moving on to new business. Item A, level 2 and 3 developer fees. Amir?
This is a request for the board to adopt a resolution number 13-22 to increase the developer fee from $7.54 to $9.90.
All right, any questions for Amir? Seeing none, then we're going to go ahead and open the public hearing. Is anybody here to speak to this tonight? Seeing no one come forward, we will close the public hearing. Need a motion, please? Got a motion by Member Munoz, seconded by Member Benton. Tina, roll call, please.
Ms. Benton? Yes. Ms. Moran? Yes. Mr. Munoz? Yes. Mr. Pereira?
Yes.
Ms. Smith? Mr. Martinez? Thank you.
Motion passes unanimously. All right, on to item B, used vehicle purchase. That's Amir too.
The FOD department is asking the board to approve the purchase of 2 used truck not to exceed $80,000.
Any questions? With that, I need a motion, please. Got a motion by Member Benton, seconded by Member Moran to approve the vehicle purchase. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And it's carried unanimously. On to item C, the 2022 LCAP Federal Addendum.
Good evening, school board members. Tonight, we bring before you the LCAP addendum. Essentially, the LCAP addendum is something that has to be approved annually. It's an explanation of how we spend our funds in detail that is not outlined in the LCAP. The LCAP are our broad goals, where the addendum explains exactly what we did with that money. So tonight, we're asking for your approval.
All right. I would like to remind everybody that the recommendation on the BRM on page 12 is it's recommended the board approve the 2022 LCAP federal addendum. That was one of the items that we corrected when we did the approval of the agenda. Any questions? Need a motion, please?
So moved.
We got a motion by Member Munoz, seconded by Member Lieb, to approve the 2022 LCAP federal addendum. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? It's carried unanimously. Thank you. On to item D, initial bargaining proposal, the Los Banos Unified School District and the Los Banos Teachers Association. Dr. Calzadias.
Each bargaining cycle, parties submit a bargaining proposal. The purpose is to make the proposal public and to allow for public comment. Once this process is presented by both parties and the board approves the proposals, then the negotiation cycle can begin. It's recommended that the board accept the initial bargaining proposal submitted by the Los Banos Unified School District to the Los Banos Teachers Association. Board acceptance of this proposal will follow a public hearing.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Calzadias. At this time, I'd like to open the public hearing on this item. If anybody wishes to speak to this item, please come forward. Seeing no one come forward, we'll close the public hearing. Any questions or discussion? All right, need a motion, please?
I move that we adopt the proposal.
Motion by Member Benton, seconded by Member Lee. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Item carried unanimously. On item E, initial bargaining proposal, Los Banos Unified School District and the California School Employees Association. Dr. Calzadias.
It's recommended that the board accept the initial bargaining proposal submitted by the Los Banos Unified School District to the California School Employees Association, CSEA, and its Los Banos chapter number 92. Board acceptance of the proposal will follow a public hearing.
All right, we will open the public hearing at this time. Anybody wishes to speak to this item, please come forward. Seeing no one come forward, we will close the public hearing. Need a motion, any questions or discussion? Need a motion, please?
So moved.
We got a motion by Member Munoz, seconded by Member Moran. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And it is carried unanimously.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Calzadias, provisional internship permits.
It's recommended that the board approve a provisional internship permit which would allow the following assignments for the 22-23 school year. Jessica Silva as would be hired as education specialist, mild to moderate at San Luis High School, and Allie Calvert, education specialist, mild to moderate at Miano Elementary.
Okay, just a couple of notes here before we continue on. We're on page 18, and I did reference that there was a correction to the recommendation at the top, which will allow the following assignment for the 22-23 school year. It says 21-22, so it is actually 22-23. And just listening to Allie Calvert is not at San Luis High School. It says on our agenda, she's actually at a different site. Miano?
No, these are correct.
They're both of them are at San Luis?
No, Jessica Silva is at San Luis High School and Allie Calvert is at Miano Elementary.
According to this.
According to this, it says San Luis. It says both in San Luis.
San
Oh,
Luis High School.
oh,
So
you have a
it's
different one than
Miano.
I'm reading off of the BRM, I'm sorry. Got it.
I'm looking
There's
at
a change on that.
yeah, it's Miano. Okay,
Got it.
I'm looking at the agenda.
Okay,
that we
I
have
see
in
what
front
you're
of us.
looking at. I'm looking at something different.
Okay, cool. All right, so with those two corrections, any
Yeah.
discussion or questions? Need a motion, please? We got a motion by Member Martinez, seconded by Member Lieb, to approve the provisional internship permits for Jessica Silva and Ali Calvert. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? It is carried. And last but not least, Dr. Calzadias, item G, substitute teacher pay.
This is my last item. Securing substitute teachers has become a difficult task for all districts in the state of California, not just Los Banos Unified. We were able to raise our sub rates last year using the ESSER COVID relief funds. And this year we are increasing our rates once again. But this year the rates are $170 for our daily rate and $255.42 for our long-term sub rate, which is a $50 increase. It's recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the daily compensation rates of $170 for substitute teachers and the long-term compensation rate of $255.42 per day. These rates are for the duration of the 22-23 school year.
All right. I do have one question. Dr. Marshall, or Dr. Calzadias, included in this item, right behind it is a memorandum of understanding between the district and Teachers Association.
Mm-hmm.
That's not mentioned in this section here.
It is. It's mentioned in the background information, the content of the MOU. The district will continue its practice of providing differential pay to employees on extended illness or injury leave and will subsidize the increased amount of $50 for daily and long-term substitute assignments, which was the content of the MOU.
Okay. The only reason I mention it is because if we follow the cover page agenda item G, it just says we're approving the substitute teacher pay. It doesn't mention anything about an MOU. So I want everybody to understand that they're actually approving two things
Right.
tonight, and that is the substitute teacher pay increase or decrease, or
correct.
actually it's an increase because it is
Yeah.
the original from last year sunsetted on June 30th of this year. So they went back to the original 120. So they're actually approving that plus the MOU that's attached to that. As long as everybody knows what you're voting on. Just want to make sure it's clear. Any questions? Discussion? Motion?
So,
Oh, we have a question. Ms. Benton?
Does the 170, is that still higher than the rest of our area?
It is. We actually received the county breakdown from Eva Chavez, who is the Assistant Superintendent of HR for the county, on August 3rd, and 170 definitely puts us above most districts in the county. We have been above most districts in the county with our long-term rate for some time. There's only one other district, Winton, that actually exceeds our compensation rate. But both of our rates now make us highly competitive.
Okay,
Competitive, rather.
And my other question was exactly what you brought up, so
Okay.
never mind.
All right. With that, any questions? Discussion? All right. I need a motion, please. Got a motion by Member Munoz, seconded by Member Martinez, to approve the substitute teacher pay increase to 170 and 255 and 42 cents per day, and also the MOU between the district and the Los Banos Teachers Association that's associated with this item. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And it is carried unanimously. On to item X, which is the consent calendar. All of these items are procedural ones that we do in one swift motion. But any item can be pulled for discussion. So are there any pulls for that item tonight? On item X, any pulls? All right, seeing none, I need a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
I move that we approve the consent calendar. Second.
I have a motion by a Member Benton, seconded by Member Moran, to approve the consent calendar as presented. Roll call, Tina, please.
Ms. Benton?
Yes.
Mr. Lieb? Mr. Martinez? Ms. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Munoz?
yes.
Ms. Smith? And Mr. Pura?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tina. On to reporting out of closed session, which is item number 11. The board had 4 items in the closed session. 3 of them were non-action items. We did have one action item. It was a parental request for early graduation for a Los Banos High School student. The board approved that request. The motion was by Ms. Benton, seconded by Mr. Martinez. The vote was 6 ayes, no noes, no abstentions, and 1 absence. Next item on the agenda is discussion, information, and future agenda items. Anybody have anything? Dr. Marshall?
I have 2 quick things. First, I want to recognize our IT department for kind of helping with this process.
Definitely, yes.
Because normally the
They're
city
in the
did
back.
that,
You can't
but
see them.
now,
They're in the back.
right. Next, I forgot to mention earlier, but I was at Volta for the flag raising ceremony, and there was a stray dog that was, wandering around, and it was like during peak hours, like traffic, tomato trucks going down. So you can imagine what was going through my head in terms of, this dog's gonna get killed. The head custodian at Volta, Mr. Robert Gray, is that correct? He basically, came out and got the dog and secured him and made sure until animal control came by. But that could have been a very traumatic experience for students to see something like that on the first day. So I wanted to just acknowledge that. So
Great. Thank you for that. Appreciate all the great job all of our employees step up and do. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. All right, any other discussion, information, or future agenda items from the board? Seeing none, the next item on the agenda is closed session, but we finished everything. So we're not going to go into closed session, so we don't have any report out. Everybody have a great start to the school year. I know you are already up and going, and thank you all for being here tonight, and we are adjourned. Good night, everybody.